Beautiful. Yes. Do you want to do the opening remarks for this, please, bro?
Yep. Welcome along to this week's football referee, where we obviously discuss all matters related to football. I'm Trevor Gear, and he calls me Bruv.
And I'm Emmy Hikins, and he calls me Cuz. Got it right this time. Welcome,
We do.
welcome to the football referee, where we discuss everything football, according to Bruv. Right. So, England. Well, not England, but the World Cup. So I believe they're starting to do the draws for the World Cup.
5th of December, I think,
5th of December.
which
Yeah.
is which is Friday next week. I think,
Yeah.
yeah,
We,
Friday next week.
week on Friday. Now, they said according to the BBC Sport report, they said they're going to put them in four pots. So I think it's pot one, two, three, and four. So they're going to try to separate, the teams so that no two teams from one confederation would be in the same pot, really. And I think, yeah. Does that mean four groups then? Or does it mean more than four groups?
No, there's going to be more than four groups, and basically what they're doing this time, they're adopting a similar situation to Wimbledon tennis, which is obviously seeded. They create a number of seeds. I think in Wimbledon's case, in men's and women's, it's about 32 in each case. It's not going to be as many as that. But what they've done, they've said the top four teams in the world, top four ranked football teams, which are, I'll ask you, which are?
I believe France, England, Argentina, and Spain.
Very good, excellent. Yeah. Well, the whole point of this is, and people are saying, and it's probably going to be looked at a bit more closely because it's only just been announced, I think. But the whole point is to avoid the top teams, the top four teams, really, knocking each other out at an early stage. If it's just a free draw, they could come up against anybody, a bit like unseeded players in Wimbledon. They might get the champion of the previous year. So they're doing that in a good way, I think, so that England would have to beat, for example, they would have to beat Spain and Argentina in the semi-final to get through to play France in the final. But it does mean that England cannot play France. They can't knock each other out in anything before the semi-final. So that's the basic object of this. And I think, as you say, then depending on where these countries are, and of course it's being held in Canada and Mexico as well, I think, as well as America, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where it's all going to be held. But as for the teams in the draw, it will be sort of arranged as well so that certain other teams can't knock out other teams, but generally it's those top four teams which are seeded as the top four nations, and the others will still be, there will be seedings as it goes down the rankings. It will presumably just the rankings. They do rank the football teams in the world,
Mm.
probably up, I don't know, up to number 20 or something. So that ranking will play a part in how the draw is made. So it'll be interesting to watch that draw on the
Mm.
5th of December. But
It
that's
will.
basically the idea of it, to stop the better teams being knocked out or risking being knocked out, or yeah, by one of the other top teams. Because it would happen, wouldn't it? If we were drawn with any one of those three teams at the beginning, England, if we were drawn with them, one of them's got to go, either us or one of those. And in a way, that diminishes then the rest of the tournament, doesn't it?
Mm.
Perhaps. So
It does.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh, have they always done it like that? Always done it like that, or is this first
No,
time?
no, they haven't. First time.
All right, okay, yeah. So I'm just looking to see where England, which are the pots we're in. I think I might have just found it. So we're in pot one.
All
And
right, part one.
yeah, and countries in pot one actually
I mean, we
include.
could get Scotland, couldn't we? I'm sure I read that we could in our pot. It's possible, not definite, but when the draw takes place, we could get Scotland, and I forget the other country that it said, but yeah, they could be in our group.
I hope we get countries like Cape Verde, Scotland.
Yeah, I rather hope that Scotland progress a bit because
Right.
it's the last time they were there was, as we said the other day, was 1998, I think, and it would be a shame with all the elation of getting there if they sort of went out pretty quickly. Of course, there's group stages, so there's going to be presumably at least three matches for everybody, and then the winners of the groups will progress, and probably a group of teams that have to play each other again, to progress into that next stage.
Mm. So in the group in the pot one, which we're in, we've got United States, Mexico, Canada. We've got Spain and Argentina and France. So we've got
Yeah, but
Spain.
yeah, but that's not obviously that's not going to if that's in our pot. As you say, you've got four pots there, which I'm not sure how many teams altogether. Is it about 44, 45, something along those lines? I think so. There may be, I don't know, 11 pots of four teams, something like that. But that initial pot, I guess, from that they will create smaller pots of four or five teams. So I'm
Hmm.
not obviously I'm not exactly sure how it's all going to work, but clearly, if England will not be at risk of having to play Spain or Argentina or France, whether
Oh,
they're in that pot one or not, until the semi-final, if we get that far.
yeah. Well, so I hope I hope we play countries like Jordan, Cape Verde, Haiti.
You never know. Let's face it, in recent years, World Cups and Euros, teams that once upon a time were considered easy meat for the bigger teams are not. There's been such progress in the men's game and the women's game from lesser, so-called lesser teams where they have a much smaller population. I remember a few years ago when Roy Hodgson was England manager. I think we got knocked out or beaten I think we were knocked out by Iceland. Now, when you
Mm.
think Iceland has a population of what, 500,000 people? 500,000. So they have a small base.